everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Making Mommy Move Show. I'm so happy that you're here with us. Today, we're going to talk about funding growth on a tight budget because I know that that's something that we're experiencing right now. And I'm sure many of you are wondering how to get out of that hole, especially when you are working that 9 to 5 or that 10-hour shift, that 7 to 5 like my husband does, or even working an extra job or anything else. I want to really touch on mindset because that's the biggest portion of this whole puzzle. Ultimately, at the end of the day, if your mind isn't focused on the why and what you're hustling for, you're never going to be able to have that self-discipline to put in the action that's going to make results for you and move the needle for that future growth. So that's the first piece. I want to dive into that a little bit more because that's something that I've been really focusing on lately in my life is changing my mindset, acknowledging other people's negative mindsets and when they're projecting it on me so that I can refocus or not take it to heart or just nod my head and smile and keep moving. So one of the things that I hear often is, how are you doing today? Oh, I'm tired. I think we all are, but I want to reframe this mindset a little bit because when you're not fueling your body correctly, you're not sleeping well enough. I know I can speak from experience with my 2 babies that sleep is hard to come by in my house, but that doesn't let me get in the way of my aspirations. So a common complaint I hear is that I'm so tired or I don't have time. Tired, I feel like you're always going to be tired, so it's just how self-disciplined are you to actually do the action that's going to get the result. My husband's been going through that recently. We'll be able to talk about it more next time I have him on the show, but just to give you a little background, he's been trying to educate himself more on real estate, and that requires him staying up a little bit later than he wants to be up to watch the videos and take the lessons and do the action for his apprenticeship. So he has to have the discipline to be able to do that even though he wants to go to bed, especially after working all day, especially after doing our strike business where we don't get home until 4 o'clock in the morning, all these things that are going to move the needle with the consistent action. You have to just have the self-discipline and the mindset to do it. So that's the first piece of the puzzle. The next piece is actually implementing the action, right? So for me, that means staying up until usually 11 o'clock at night because the girls go down for bed around 8:30. So that gives me a solid 2.5 hours to move the needle in my businesses. Not to mention my daytime hours, but that's divvied up between wedding and event planning and designing and picking up my flowers and then trying to work on a couple other things that we have going on in the background. So it's trying to prioritize and make sure that I'm doing the right things. So once you have your mindset right and it's set and ready to go, then it's how do you keep feeding it when you feel like you're just totally drained financially and energy-wise? So at least for us, we feel like it's the premise of delayed gratification. We know that we're going to get the reward that we want. It's just we can't have it yet. So let me break that down a little bit more. We want to have our forever home. So technically we could take our HELOC money that we got from our home equity line of credit. We could use that as a down payment and move into our dream home. But that's not going to happen because we want to make more money with it. So with that being said, we're going to take that, we're going to invest it in future real estate opportunities, and that's going to create income generating assets for us that will then fuel our future home. Likewise, we have some other business opportunities that we're pursuing. So Garden in the Pines is earning money. Ideally, we would want to take everything out of that so that we can live more of a lifestyle that we want to live. But instead, I'm taking that and I'm funding all of our other growth with that. Because I know that what I'm doing is going to have far greater results when I'm adding money to it. So with that same mindset in mind, maybe you have to take a second job, maybe you have to do a little side work, whatever you have to do in order to fund that growth for you. For me and my business, it's my brand, it's this other special project that we're going to be announcing soon, the podcast. It's all of these things that when I'm using Garden in the Pines income to fuel this growth, I'm able to bring on a team of people that are actually skilled in these things. So I have somebody that is super talented at video and audio editing. I have somebody that's super talented with YouTube SEO so that my videos are found better on YouTube. I have somebody writing my blogs. Like, all of these things are helping me to get everything done, and my garden and the pines income is helping do this. So this isn't going to be a long episode. I wanted this to be short, but I also want to hit home on the idea of potentially having to delay the gratification that you're looking for in order to get the result that you're looking for. So I want to talk about a different aspect of funding growth with a tight budget. Sometimes you're going to have to put that self-discipline hat on for other reasons, meaning that you're going to need to stick to your budget. This is a hard one for us also, because we like to use our credit cards. And if they're not locked away, or we're not really intentional with the way that we're using them, they rack up very quickly, and then we are hustling to pay it off. And it is just this vicious cycle that keeps on repeating itself if we don't have that self-discipline hat on. So in order to fund your future growth, maybe you have to stick to your budget more than you already are. Make sure that you're trying to divvy up as much money as you can to fund your project that you're creating that's going to change the world for you. I hope that hits home. I hope that is helpful. I want you to feel like you're not alone in this, that you're not the only one that's trying to create something so special for yourself and for your family, for your purpose that you're trying to fill in your life. I want you to feel like it is possible because we're doing it. I know that we're not there yet, but I hope that this is kind of like a candid, kind of come with us type of scenario that you feel like you're inspired to take action in your life to create the life that you really want and love. That's why we're doing this. That's why we want to do this podcast and these YouTube videos. We want you to feel inspired to change your life for your family, for your kids, for yourself, so that you feel inspired and motivated, like you can conquer the world, because you can. Okay? Well, thank you for tuning into this episode with me. I promise I'll have Larry back on the show and we'll talk about this a little bit more in detail, but I just wanted to get this out into the world so that you can feel inspired that even if you're on a tight budget, maybe you just have to put that self-discipline hat on, hustle a little harder, and potentially take some side income or some side jobs or whatever you can do to scrape more money together. Stick to that alignment plan or that budget so that you can fund that growth in your new business or your new passion project and create the life that you want. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.